What's up, guys? How's it going? A little Tuesday night action. Hopping on here. First time chatting live, I guess, since the Super Bowl, but how we doing? Make sure you hit the like button if you haven't. Helps out the algorithm, we know. Subscribe if you haven't either. Going to be doing some giveaways. Past 45,000. You guys are awesome. Y'all know that, but 45,000 subs. And it hasn't even been a year yet, which is crazy. But how we doing on a Tuesday night? Going to get into the whole Hassan Reddick trade rumors. What's real, what's not. What did he say? Everything else there. But we'll get into that. I'm curious to get y'all's take too. And how much would you be willing to give up, or I guess in this sense of Hassan Reddick, how much would you want to get back for a Hassan Reddick trade? If he was to find a deal, we can get into that. DeAndre Swift, options there. There's a lot of moves that we have. So as far as, what you could do with in the offseason to free up cap space and help yourself out there. Yeah, and everything else. I mean, Valentine's Day tomorrow, so hopefully you guys got plans. Don't be in trouble. Hopefully not wait until last second, but, it's kind of snuck up on me a little bit. But yeah, how's everyone doing? Let me know where you're at, where you're listening from. I'll give you a shout out. Appreciate y'all hopping on. Let's see, Ernie here. Good evening, Josh. Appreciate it. Like Lar says, yeah, I hear if you hit the like, you have a chance to win the Mega Millions. Maybe, it probably doesn't hurt. It's not a negative there. Monster the Boss, what's up, people? There you go. China, hey Josh, how's the girls? They're good. They're doing well. Taking it day by day, but very blessed. And also saying Eagles have taught me to feel nothing. That's all of us. I think we're all together in that. We've learned at this point that you're just taking it day by day. And we hear so many things that are. Well, I mean, I guess we hear a lot of things that are true. Then we also hear a lot of things that are not. So, it's just strange because we're. Well, I guess like Nate said here. Yeah, here we are again. Hey, Josh. What's up, Nate? How's it going? From Savannah, Georgia. There you go. Chris from the ATL. Heck yeah. The other side of the country, Dre, Oakland, California. Go Birds. Go Birds, Dre. Jack from North Carolina. There you go. Are you going to try for a son or are you done? We're gonna figure out how 2 works. So you got to get the routine. I feel like with 1, we went for a while. It's like, oh my gosh, it's a new realization. Then all of a sudden you get it going, and then we had a routine. So we're like, all right, yeah, we definitely wanted to have 2, but we'll see. Brandon, I'm having a great time trolling the 49ers on Twitter. Absolutely. That's you guys that watched the previous video, that maybe it was over the top. It was overkill with the trolling and making fun, mocking all the other stuff. But, if we had to suffer through that Super Bowl and, it's like the enemy of the enemy is the enemy of my enemy is my friend type of thing. And it's like, yeah, you didn't feel great for either of those teams. Obviously, we would have wanted to be there, but I didn't want the Niners. I don't think that many people did. There were a few comments I saw, though, people that were cheering for the Niners would rather them than the Kansas City. I don't know that I understand that hate, and I'm saying like Eagles fans that were legit saying that. So kind of strange, but we'll see. But let's get into the Hassan Reddick. That's the title of the video. Jump in here. Comment here from Donovan. What's up? How's it going? Says, let's keep Swift and just read a report that Hassan would prefer to stay. I would love to have him back. He would be a great mentor for Nolan. Absolutely. He would for sure be a great mentor for Nolan. That is one of those that I'm hopeful for Nolan. I will say that there's a lot of potential in him, but at the same time, it's like, we didn't see much last season. Granted, they were probably holding him back intentionally for that side. And it's like, he's got to get stronger. I don't think weight wise necessarily is an issue. I know people will argue that, it's really just the strength and the shoulder thing, but yes, he needs to develop another pass rushing move. And we'll see. But yeah, it's a little bit strange. The whole, this is the time of year too that it's going to be like so much either, I don't want to say misreporting, but it's going to be like is it the full-blown truth? Are we getting some rumors? And agents, too, a lot of times spread rumors just to help their guy, right? To get a little bit more interest in their free agent and see if somebody picks up on it. So that'll also happen. But yeah, let me start here and throw up the initial, and then we'll kind of go through, and curious to get y'all's thoughts as well. But so this was one right here. Ian Rappaport. Now this was obviously 2 days ago. This was, Super Bowl Sunday. But Ian Rappaport reported then saying that edge rusher Hassan Reddick has received permission to seek a trade following another disruptive season featuring double-digit sacks. 29-year-old, 27 sacks over the last 2 seasons, could land elsewhere. So the key on that to me is received permission to seek a trade. It's all right, well, hey, you can go out there. Now, we'll never know probably who leaked it to Ian Rappaport, but then all of a sudden, you're wondering, all right, well, is he requesting a trade? Is it Hassan Reddick himself? Is it the team? It's a lot of semantics, but I'm sure if any of you were on Twitter today, or even a lot of news articles that came out, it's, oh my gosh, Reddick, does he want to trade? Does he not want to trade? Who was this first? I don't know. It doesn't really matter a whole lot to me, but it is funny because it depends on who leaks it first that it gets out there. But if you're just catching up and curious to it, then the next, I guess, tweet in this whole conversation came today, or I guess the most meaningful. Let me throw this one up here. Came today from Jordan Schultz. So he says, just spoke to Eagles all-pro pass rusher Hassan Reddick, who tells me he never requested a trade and he wants to stay in Philadelphia, to which quotes from Hassan Reddick said, I would like to get an extension done here at home. At no point did I ever tell the organization I want to be traded. And then, goes on to say, this is home for me, born and raised. 2 of the most fun years playing football in my life came here. I've cherished being an Eagle. That's great. Love that. And also there's a way where both sides can be true. So I also saw the conflicting reports, or people trying to make it conflicting reports. Just because Reddick was granted permission doesn't mean that it was him saying, I want to be traded, and then all of a sudden coming back and saying, hey, no, somebody made that up. It's just the media kind of running with it and saying Reddick did want to be traded, and then confusing people because it's wait, did he say that, or was it just the report and taken out of context? So, you see there, Reddick's no, I never said I wanted to be traded. Still, if we take this a little bit further, then Reddick, this was live time. 5 minutes later, I think, is whenever I got the notification. So it was almost immediately whenever Jordan Schultz had made this comment. Then Reddick himself tweets and says, here you go. Never asked for a trade, so confirmation. Never asked for a trade. However, I do understand it's a business preparing for whatever's next. That's fair. Again, he gets it. He's been to he's made several transitions or several moves. He knows how it works. And he's well within his rights. I hope that he gets paid. He deserves it. He's made a lot, he's well outperformed the contract that he has right now. So that's perfectly fine. I'm okay with that. I think that I think the minimum for him is probably $20 million. I'd be shocked if it's less than that per year, and it probably should be more, because there's 3 guys that have more sacks than him. I've done a couple shows on it. We talked about it a number of times, but only 3 guys since Reddick over the last 4 seasons, I believe, that have had more sacks. And those guys are Trey Hendrickson, Myles Garrett, and TJ Watt. And those are dominant pass rushers, but sack-wise, numbers-wise for contracts, they're, $28 million a year, I think, for TJ Watt, 25 for Myles Garrett, 21 for Trey Hendrickson. So that's why I say $20 million is probably the minimum for him. So he gets it. But what I take from that, and, hey, curious to get y'all's thoughts here too, and we'll get into, again, speculation where he could go, where he should go, how much you want for him, all that stuff. But I am curious because, to me, it's it's in between. It's not like you can't say, hey, Reddick is not requesting a trade. He would love to get paid and stay here. But like we've seen with DeAndre Swift, which we'll get into later, as well as, let's look back to last season and Miles Sanders saying, I love Philly. I hope they love me too. It's natural. It's hey, cool. You're here in the area. You're here from Philly. You're a Philly native and you want to stick around, but the contract's got to be right. And DeAndre Swift even said that at the Super Bowl, his interview with Bo Wolf and Zach Berman. He said it. he kind of got put on the spot. They're like, hey, you coming back? You want to be here? Oh, I would love to be in Philly. I would love to. It's got to make sense. And it's going to come down to the financials there. And that's the part where I don't know. Would love for him, totally agree, Donovan, would love for him to stick around for not only Nolan, but I mean, this pass rush, because then it comes into, hey, if you get rid of Hassan Reddick, well, then who are we replacing him with? There's not a lot of edge depth anyway. So then it can get concerning, if you don't re-sign Hassan Reddick, if Howie chooses not to, then it tells me, okay, well, you got to fill that somehow. There's options. There's for sure options. You get cheaper ones. But what does a trade look like? Who's available? I saw some comments, people saying, hey, we'll go out there and get a big name pass rusher. If you let Hassan Reddick go, in my mind, you're not getting a premier pass rusher back. You're trying to fill the void in a sense of by aggregate, I suppose, not by one individual player, which could still work. We need the pass rush rotation anyway, and even go through the draft. But yeah, it's just kind of funny where, it's a slower time of the year. I get that. So maybe you got to have bigger stories and people talking about this stuff. But, people make a bigger deal about it. It is a business decision, and his agent is wanting to, I'm sure, step up the negotiations or at least start those. And, at the same time too, like, it's within Howie's rights, and it's also like common sense. He did this last season, if we remember, last offseason with Darius Slay and probably a number of the free agents. It sounded like, not everyone, because he wasn't willing to offer or to match TJ Edwards apparently. But still, it's like, hey, go see what you can get. See what's out there. If the market's there, we might be able to match it. If not, then we have our answer. And it's also to help out Hassan Reddick too, to figure out like, hey, what might be my worth? What can I possibly get? And if it's not good enough, then hey, maybe he comes back too. So I think it ends up being a win-win. It's just contract negotiations. It's posturing. One side's always going to look bad. A lot of times it's the organization, which is whatever. It's a business. And again, like Hassan Reddick said, he gets that. But yeah, it is what it is. So curious to get y'all's thoughts. I know I've been kind of going on for a little bit, so let me get to the comments here real quick. Let's see. Ron McKay, greetings from West Virginia. Well, I guess I'm late on this, so perhaps the Eagles put the rumor out in order to see what they can get for him on the fly. Yep, there you go. Fitness Warrior, what's up? Hola, everyone. How's it going? Andre, remember me, Josh? I got you. There's a shout out. Nate, is there a chance Howie is just ready to move on because he thinks he can get production from someone else for less? It's a good question, maybe. I think he's like halfway ready, if I was to guess. Who knows what Howie's thinking? But if I was to guess, I would say he's like halfway ready to move on, because he does like to be, he's said it a number of times, be ahead of the curve, thinking ahead of the curve, not get stuck, where all of a sudden it's hey, we made a decision too late. You see that not only with guys that he allows to walk, but you also see that with guys that, he extends and gets deals done beforehand or drafts replacements. Like there's a number of case in point scenarios. Like whenever he drafted, even going all the way back to Jalen Hurts, I've said it a number of times, like it was one of those where I was like, what, why are we, this doesn't make sense. Now, thankfully he did that. But there's one, even Dallas Goedert, that one was a little bit surprising. Worked out great, but I was like, hang on, we got Zach Ertz here, but you draft a replacement and you have it ready to go. Dallas Goedert is now the age of, or older than Zach Ertz was whenever they drafted Goddard. So according to Clay Harbor, he says the Eagles are going to be, I guess, active in terms of getting a tight end too. So there's another position to keep an eye on. If they draft somebody, get a potential guy in there, maybe. But yeah, it's staying ahead of the curve. So possibly he looks at it and says, hey, Hassan Reddick, he's 29. His birthday's 4 days earlier than mine, September 22nd, and he's going to turn 30 then. Does he have good football? Probably. In my mind, he's still got really good football ahead of him, but does he have his best football ahead of him? I don't know. You probably, maybe I'm wrong. I err on the side of that his best football probably has already been played. Not to say that he couldn't top it in like one season, like have a career year, but I don't know if you would like to add up, let's say the last 3 seasons or 4 seasons, that sack total combined to what he's going to do in the next 3 to 4 years. Now, I don't think that it's going to be a drastic decline, but still, I wouldn't surprise me. You got to be ready to move on at some point. So it'll be interesting. Let's see. Fanny Woods, what's up? Says keep him. I mean, that would be my preference, just to be clear. Like, even though I'm saying I could see where Howie in this world would be thinking that way, stay ahead of the curve and all this stuff. If you can figure out a middle ground, I tweeted this out, so people that are following me on Twitter probably already saw it. But if you can find a middle ground, by all means, keep Hassan Reddick here. He's your best pass rusher. It's going to be hard to find. So, yeah, you may not have a dominant pass rusher from that sense. And I don't really get the whole idea that, Hassan Reddick can't learn or can't be better than what he was in pass coverage. Now, I'm not saying that I want Hassan Reddick dropping back a ton, but still, like, he can be better than what he was last season. Fangio can teach that. And Hassan has been in a number of different places throughout his career. I mean, remember, the Cardinals did the ultimate terrible thing of trying to make him play off-ball linebacker and not put him down as a pass rusher for a little bit. So you figure out, okay, hey, look, his best thing is to rush the passer, for sure. Like, not going to deny that. That is where I want him. That's where everyone should want him. But, maybe we just, what is it, 10% of the time, 12% of the time you drop him back in coverage probably is what the percentage would be if he's still here and he's with Fangio with this defense. I don't think it'd be the worst thing in the world, is what I'm saying. I think Fangio can teach it. I think Haas can get more comfortable in the scheme. And with his athleticism, it wouldn't be a detriment, I guess, compared to whoever else you want to throw in there. And you're still going to get a lot from a pass rush. So, yes, I will say I would prefer for him to be there for the right money. It comes down to contract, as it always does, but that's what I'm thinking. Tracy Ann here says the whole thing seems like a negotiation tactic. Yep, Howie probably gave him a number. Hassan's agent tried to get more, and Howie told him, then no, look elsewhere if you want. Spot on. I think that's the best way to put it. Because the report was that they started to try to get a deal done as soon as the regular season ended. So, yeah, I mean, we're what, like, what are we now? About a month since the regular season ended. So it feels about right. You have 4-ish weeks. There's some distractions, Super Bowl and offseason, maybe quick vacation, whatever. So there's probably some downtime there. But still, you have a couple weeks of trying to get a deal done. Yeah. You have a number. They have a number. It's really far off. Because Haas is $15 million a year right now. So I don't know. If I had to guess, I'd say Howie's going in there, throwing out, I don't know if he maybe would go up to 20, even though he's 15 now. You see the production that he can do. He throws out there like 18. Haas is like, no, I want 27, 20, 25 at a minimum, but I'd think 27, something like that. Pretty far off. So sure, go see what you can get. Come back and, give me the first right of refusal, basically. Frankie Ray, what's up? Says, did you see Devontae Smith was on a podcast and said he talked to Kellen Moore? Smith said he was really excited to be doing motions. Yeah, I did. I saw that. That was exciting to see, not surprising again, because it's one of those that I guess whenever Kellen Moore was first even rumored to be hired before the official announcement of Kellen Moore. Just looking at the percentages and everything else going, oh my gosh, this is going to be incredible. Devontae Smith can be a CeeDee Lamb of sorts. You can use him in so many different ways that the Eagles haven't been, which is crazy because he's been really productive. We all know that. But, can you imagine being in motion and moving him to the slot more often, getting creative with his offensive scheme? If I'm Smitty, I'm like, thank you. Thank you for getting me an offensive coordinator who's not going to be so just standard, vanilla, boring, and non-creative, just lacking total creativity. Make some things happen. Yeah, Smitty's going to have a fantastic year. I will be surprised if he does not. But yeah, I did see that. That was exciting too. When we get the players to get kind of hyped up on it, that was good. Because we all had our thoughts. Again, I was excited, but yeah, like Nate says, Smitty sounded pretty excited after talking to his new OC. I would be. Which brings up to another question. He's excited, yes, because it'll make life easier. He's going to have a good year, which also plays into do the Eagles get a contract done with Smitty? I think if you're Howie Roseman and you absolutely do that. But does Smitty look at it and say like, yeah, well, I got 2 years left here, so this is kind of the contract year. He's got 2 years, but this is kind of the contract year. Like, go get something done so the Eagles will extend, or I guess get a new deal done before you get into your final year. So I would be pretty happy about that. You could possibly go out there, put up big numbers. Either the Eagles pay you now, and it's a good contract, or if you say, nah, I can get a little bit more than that, and it's perfect timing for him in the offense. Although, again, personally, I would prefer they get it done now, because if you got CeeDee Lamb, who's about to get a contract done, and Justin Jefferson, who, he said he wants to know the Vikings' plans, understandably, for who the quarterback is going to be. But, before he signs something long-term, still, as soon as CeeDee Lamb or Justin Jefferson, it's going to feel, I think, to me, reminiscent of last offseason, just with the receivers this time, at least for them, because it was Jalen Hurts gets the deal done, and then, he's the highest paid for a week, and then you got Lamar Jackson, and it's just kind of the hey, here's the new highest. So you're going to reset the market with those. So I feel like CeeDee Lamb will come out, or it'll be Justin Jefferson, and then all of a sudden you're going to go and the agent's going to say, oh, okay, well, that's our new threshold. Like, that's what we're targeting for. We want to be the highest paid. So if Smitty does that, I don't know that I'm saying, hear me out. I'm not saying that he's Justin Jefferson, but if Smitty waits and the market's reset, well, then all of a sudden you got to pay higher. So it wouldn't surprise me if Howie takes the standard approach of, hey, pay your guy earlier rather than later. But for sure, if I'm Smitty, I'm sitting there going, heck yeah, this is the guy that I want. Yeah, John says, but we can't pay Hassan Reddick $25 to $30 million a year. Totally agree. Let's see. Travis from Pennsylvania. What's up? Shout out there. Tay, I think, is maybe how I say that. Is I hope Reddick stays, man. How did you? Go Phillies. What's up? You going to do this stuff for the Phillies during the summer? This is just the Eagles stuff. But I if I had time, I'd love to, cover all the sports. It is so ingrained in everything else, and the time that it takes for videos, editing, coverage, and everything else. It's all Eagles, but it would be fun. Johnny, suppose a replacement Nolan Smith has to show up next year looking like another bust. On a high-value first-round pick. Not happy with Howie right now. I think that's premature. I get some frustration with Nolan. I understand. But Howie likes to, again, he's trying to think ahead. A lot of times take a draft pick to hope for the future or plan for the future, knowing that Hassan Reddick coming up on a contract. You got Josh Sweat, who is also going to need an extension fairly soon if you're going to do that. I'm not saying that, Nolan is the answer or that I have a ton of confidence. I'm still very positive about him, very optimistic. You guys know how much I love Nolan. But yeah, like, I'm not just going to blow smoke and tell you, hey, Nolan Smith is going to take over for Hassan Reddick. Like, he's going to make up for that production. Like we all saw him. He can take a jump for sure. There's a lot of potential there. But you got to get another guy. You're going to have to get multiple guys, like I said. But no, he's not a bust. Come on, he's just the first year. You got to give a little bit more patience than that for Nolan. David Ertz, what's up? I feel like we need more leadership on our defense, so I'm curious where you think we can find our next Brian Dawkins / Malcolm Jenkins. That is a good question, yeah. We talked about it a number of times. I feel like just the identity, mentioning how we don't have that. We don't have the Dawkins. We don't have the Jenkins. I'm curious too, and I'll answer this as well. But are you saying that would you say it has to be a safety? I know that those are the two that come to mind, but it could probably be any position. I'm assuming that's what you mean. It feels like it's going to be, it feels like they want Nacobe Dean to be that guy. I don't know that I buy that, but I mean, that's the feeling. If we just go based off of press conferences and Howie Roseman and him kind of getting Nick to agree with him, then I don't know. I think that's who I think that's who they want. And I guess here, like Chris is saying, Nolan is in a wait your turn situation, just like how we did with Dean his rookie year. Yeah, kind of. Maybe a little bit different. I feel like they wanted Dean to go out there, and then TJ Edwards proved him wrong. He was like, hey man, we gotta play this guy over Nacobe Dean. I feel like it's a little bit different in that sense. I think Nolan was an immediate, as soon as you draft him, you're like, well, he's not starting. I think there was a possibility that Nacobe Dean could have won out. But still, like, there's some patience that you can have. And even with Nacobe, I think that we're asking ourselves, is he the guy? Like, can he be that presence? I don't know that he can. I'm hopeful for Nacobe. I think he can. He's had a rough go, obviously, last year with the injuries, and then he didn't win out against TJ Edwards and Kaiser White. But that's a serious question. I mean, again, going back to David's question here of where can we find next Brian Dawkins and Malcolm Jenkins? Where do we think? There's and again, I don't think I'm waiting to see if David's going to respond back if he's talking just safety wise. I think he's just talking about the vocal leader of the defense. More of that leadership, because safety wise, like I'm high on Sidney Brown. ACL injury is going to hurt because he won't come back until, well, who knows when. But I don't think that you go into automatically saying like he's going to be our starting safety like day one, opening day. Maybe he changes, but I don't. Sidney Brown doesn't necessarily strike me either as one of those that is the vocal leader of the defense. I think from his play style, he could be a lead by example, no doubt. The way the dude plays. I mean, I want more of Sidney Brown's on the defense, honestly. Fly around, hit people. Sometimes it hurts you. I get that, but I would take some penalties. I would take a little bit, let me just preface it, a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit of over pursuit based on what we saw this past season. Like, just go hit somebody, make them feel you. So, but again, I don't know that that's Sidney Brown. I really don't think that is. He could be good. But I don't know if I look and think about this team, who that vocal leader is, I'm at a loss, to be honest. I think they want it to be Nacobe Dean, but I don't know if I buy that. And outside of Nacobe Dean, like, I don't know. Nolan has a bigger personality, but I don't think Nolan Smith is that guy. I think he's your happy juice energy BG replacement, but he's not your get in your face when you're messing up and be that vocal leader and presence and feeling like, okay, hey, this dude has it. I don't think that's just his style, really. So it's a question I think that they have to figure out. And I'd be interested too to see if, like, do we go free agent route to find that dude, or do you draft him? But if you draft him, I don't think you're asking a rookie to come in, and eventually he could develop into that, maybe. But you're not drafting him and saying, hey, be that guy this coming season. Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question, though. Appreciate it, Dave. On that topic, too, I guess we're talking about like personality and leadership. The whole Jalen Hurts thing was strange. I'm sure you guys saw this one too. It was on Super Bowl Sunday, but just in case not, I'll throw this one up here too, because it goes right along with what we're talking about. But let's see. Here we go. Yeah, this was the one. So, as much on the defensive side that we talk about who's that identity, who's that vocal leader, Mike Garafolo reported that the Eagles are wanting Jalen Hurts to be more vocal and jovial, I think is the word there. Yeah. Showing more personality, basically. They were excited or happy to see that from the Pro Bowl, but had not seen that previously. So, it's something to keep an eye on, something that they're really wanting to see. I could somewhat get that. And Jalen even was embracing the criticism, basically saying like, hey, yeah, I understand, like, you're measured by the result. It's a big impact to what you do. Yeah, Fanny Woods, going back to the Nacobe, though, says Howie must have a bromance with Nacobe because I don't think he's that guy. Yeah, I don't know that he's the John here. Yeah, Sidney Brown might be a great future leader. Possibly. I'll be clear. I'm not saying like totally writing him off. Zach says it too. Yep. I hear you guys. It'd be cool. But yeah, that's where we're at. Just doesn't feel like he's the personality of that. But yes, like Nate says, going back to the Jalen Hurts response on the be more vocal, I think it's the same case in point. Like, you can change for sure. I feel like whenever I say that, the initial thing that I think of is Rocky IV, and if you can change, I can change. The whole like talking to the after he beats Drago. I don't know. That's where my head goes. But like, you can change for sure. I'm not saying that's not possible. But like, I don't think you see a drastic change, nor do you want like an overcorrection or a faking it or a poser mentality, whatever, like, you got to be you. Because I think that regardless, not just for like the NFL or for a football game, but in life, I mean, I think the best thing is people figure out very quickly if you're being real or not. And if you're not, then you're found out and you really aren't the best version of yourself anyway, because you're just faking it for forever. And then, anxiety, insecurities, all this other stuff pops up. So I'm okay with the whole be more vocal in a sense, if that's who Jalen is. And I think that there's part of Jalen that he, for whatever reason, maybe didn't show that last year. Which is understandable because winning cures all and winning is more fun. So if you're winning, then, it's easier to be more jovial, be more vocal. You see the mic'd up session with Jalen Hurts in the, the game against Miami, I think, was where he was mic'd up and he's talking to Julio and talking to AJ and just joking and laughing and stuff like that. It's like, you go and listen to or watch some of the mic'd up clips and you're like, man, we never see Jalen like at press conferences or individuals with, really with lots of other people. We don't really get to see that insight too much, which is, I mean, I'm perfectly fine with too. It's like with the press is one thing. Like if he wants to get up there with a press conference and just be stoic and give the, quotable sayings and stuff like that, that's fine. He can be very vanilla and not give a whole lot. That's okay. With the media, I don't mind that. But like when we see him with the team and with teammates and after scores and after big plays, yeah, it's a lot more fun, I think, as a fan. But like also for any of us that have played sports, I think it's a motivator. When your leader, your QB1, your dude is actually showing some emotion instead of like, oh, hey, we just scored a touchdown. Oh, okay, well, we're not celebrating. We're not getting excited about it. Again, there's a difference between doing that when your team is on a run, on having some momentum. I mean, if you haven't seen the difference of it, I know it's a longer clip, but you can kind of like scroll through, but go to the Eagles channel and look up the mini movie. Like type in mini movie, it'll show up. It'll be not last season, I guess, two seasons ago, but on the Super Bowl run and everything else, go look. There is a ton of Jalen Hurts clips of excited, jovial, having a great time with the team, and still, being himself, but being vocal. I think that's what you're looking at. That's who you gave or why you gave the money to Jalen Hurts. You want him to still be the leader. You want him to be poised, and he's always going to be that way because that's just a natural tendency. But yeah, you can be out there and have a little bit more fun. Because I feel like maybe we missed it somehow, but I feel like if you made a mini movie from this year, and possibly they're going to, I don't know, it's not as exciting, so maybe they won't. But if you made a mini movie this season and you tried to be like, okay, let's go find some clips, you could find some. but it's not near as many. Again, it's a difference of you go all the way to the Super Bowl and have a great season, overperform expectations versus, I mean, let's be honest, he had the weight of the world on his shoulders. So I can understand it where you're going to be, trying to go through that and, you try to go through that and be try to find the positive and try to be a little bit more hyped up on that. Yeah, Tracy Ann says the thing with Jalen's personality is stupid. You guys really wanted to see him smiling in the middle of a losing streak. Yeah, that's not what I'm saying. Yeah, I get that. You don't have to, but just in between, like, even in the middle of a losing streak, if you make a big play, it's I think personally, I think it's all right. Like, you could smile a little bit, celebrate a little bit. That's it. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not saying in the middle of a game where you're losing by 10 points or whatever, and that's maybe the issue because how many games were we winning at the end? So it's a counter argument to what I'm saying. So I understand that, but yeah, I guess the feeling is there's not as much of a vocal tendency from Jalen, and perhaps they want him to do it. But which again, to sum that up, I'm okay with. I just don't want him to go outside of what his personal, I guess his normal personality is. Anthony, what's up? Josh, who do you think will be the third wideout? Good question. I don't think that the third wideout is on the roster. If I'm being honest, I think that the third wideout is going to be probably someone off free agency. And I don't know who that is going to end up being, but yeah, that is one priority though. Certainly with a Kellen Moore. We talked about this on the Friday night hangout, I think. But yeah, you got a Kellen Moore offense, third wide receiver. Going to be a little bit more. We had the guessing game of how many catches. But because before I looked it up, I was like, I wonder how many catches Olamide Zaccheaus has. It was 10. It's like, what in the world? I was like, really? Okay, just 10. But yeah. Sorry, I had to ban somebody. Yeah, y'all saw Ryan. We ain't gonna do that. We can disagree with people, and you guys know that I don't know everything. I don't even claim to. So, but no, I'm not gonna keep that here in the chat. So. There you go. I think, is it Jomar? I mean, I may not say that correctly. Jomar, Bahamas here, fly birds. There you go. Go birds. Yeah, I'm gonna let me I'm gonna add some. I've got a couple people here, but let me add real quick some moderators. Sometimes I'm late on seeing those, but just to some people here, this will help also. Bear with me one second. We'll get back on track. There we go. Okay. Had to do that for a second. All right, Kwaku Afori. I'm sorry again, names are hard for me, but hopefully I said that right. Do you think Eagles re-sign Hassan? Was talking about that a second ago. I'm not sure. I would love for them to. I really want him to stick around, but if I had to guess right now, I'm going to say no. It feels like we would not. Just with what he probably can get, teams are going to be interested. I'd be shocked. I feel like teams are going to be interested in Hassan Reddick. Again, you got a pass rusher. Yes, there's a lot of pass rushers out there, so maybe that helps you because there are, a decent amount of free agents. But I'm thinking surely someone's going to be willing to say, hey, you know what? We can offer him, give him like 25-ish million. I don't know. Does Howie go along with that? Probably not in my mind. Which is okay. If it's the right money, for sure. I want Hassan here. Tracy and Jalen Hurts might need to do another interview on the Kelce podcast. He'll be more relaxed, and they'll tell funny stories. Good PR. That's a great point. Yeah, because whenever he went on previously, that's really the best. It's the best stuff. Like you could see it then. What was it also? It was the the Christmas album recording. Like there's like little spurts of that too. But even stuff like that, like feel like you get a lot more of the legit Jalen Hurts personality, who he is with the friends or the teammates, versus what we see from just really like media members. And I mean, like, I'll be honest, you guys know, I think most people know, but I mean, I used to work for ESPN. I used to cover teams, and I totally get it because like whenever I would go and interview players, I was friends with some of them. I covered Baylor for the student newspaper. I covered them also back whenever I was working with ESPN. I was friends with guys. We'd play basketball together. It'd be a regular, normal conversation, but you get to a press conference, and all of a sudden it's like, whoa, man, like, this is not who you are. But I get it, because it's on the record. As soon as you say something, you got to be really guarded, because the message is going to be taken a different way, or someone's going to bait you into a question that you're not really wanting to answer or should have to answer. So, yeah, I mean, from the sense of, what we see in press conferences or things like that, I'm totally fine. But yeah, the great PR. Go on to new heights. I mean, that's just about any type of good PR, but if you want to go there. Matt Gonzalez, what's up? Says, any chance a linebacker with 22nd pick, or are there none good enough to pick that soon? I'm not even going to pretend to be an expert in the draft, and you guys know that. But I would say so far from what I've read and watched and seeing other people's critique, I feel like that's way too high to take a linebacker at 22. Now, like a second round pick, I could see that. But to me, it feels like at 22, it's either going to be, if I had to guess, it's going to be D-line or it's going to be corner, I think. And especially if you get rid of Hassan Reddick, even to me, if you get rid of Hassan Reddick, even if you get a player back, it's not going to be a big name player. You're not going to trade that. So like I said, you probably taking D-line at 22. I mean, unless just for some reason you're sitting there and it's a corner that you can't pass up on who's just fallen to you or something. Maybe something like that. But again, I mean, I say that it's been since 2001 since the Eagles took a first round corner. So, I mean, eventually you'd think we'll buck the trend. Heck, it's been 6 years, I think, right? 6 years since we've had a corner take it in the first 3 rounds. I think the last one was Sidney Jones, and that was Sidney Jones and Russell Douglas, the same draft. Maybe Howie's got some PTSD from those selections, but still, like, you look at some of the prospects there, it wouldn't be the worst thing in my mind if you take a corner at 22. But yeah, a linebacker, not exactly as sure on that one. Feel like it'd be too high. Got a super chat. Bald Eagle, what's up? Appreciate the 2. Says extend Reddick 3 years and sign Burns, but backload. Ooh, boy. That would be fun. Brian Burns of Carolina, but gosh, that is a lot there. Let's see here. I'm going to look up more of the exact number you're looking at, and I'll throw it up here on the screen. There you go. Brian Burns, market value, an average of 21.7. Dude's a stud, but man, you're it would be fun. It's a unique, interesting perspective, and it would be fun to see those, but I don't know if you're going to get a 21.7 or somewhere in that neighborhood, and you're also going to extend Reddick. There's probably a way to make that work, but you're so much handicapping yourself, and you're also going to have to salvage on, or really, I guess, forfeit on other positions. Because then what? What are you're saying? If you went that direction, you'd probably have to just go with what we have for the most part on corners. Safety, take someone in the draft that's okay, I guess. You could try to make do with Blankenship, draft a safety, get a cheap free agent safety. Take a cheap running back in the draft. It's probably possible. I'm not saying it's impossible there, but that would be pretty wild. As much as it'd be fun to have a bolstered pass rush in that sense, I think it's at best one or the other. At best, you're either extending Reddick and you're like, all right, cool. Now we're gonna bolster it through the draft and like mid free agents, or maybe you would look to go and get a big deal done with Burns or a different free agent if you got rid of Reddick. But it still would also be kind of a situation of, okay, you didn't pay Reddick, but you're going to go pay about the same. I don't know. It would be interesting. Doug, I appreciate the comment. That means a lot. Yeah, I think I've introduced myself to some people as I'm the nicest Eagles fan that you're going to meet. Whatever that means. But that's usually the go-to. So, but no, I appreciate it. Brandon, I don't get much time to play video games. Every once in a while I'll get some COD in, but 2 girls, 2-year-old and a 3-week-old, certainly not recently, but even over the last couple years, it's very hit or miss. Every once in a while, COD. Let's see. Yeah, Frankie Ray, the last corner to go. Yep, there you go. First round was Lito Shepherd. Yeah, 2001, I believe. Zach, $43 million for both Reddick and Burns. Not happen. I'm with you. There's a way to free up. I think it was like 60. Let me see. I think I've got that tweet. There's a way to free up 60 million-ish or get to 60 million in cap space without having to hold on. Let's see, cap space here. Yeah, here we go. Sorry, it took me a second to find it, but shout out to Jimmy Smith, by the way. If you guys are not following Jimmy, that dude has some of the best knowledge as far as cap restructuring and how it works and doing the math and break down everything there. So especially this time of year, free agent period and everything else, there's a lot of things that you can learn from the breakdowns. But yeah, I tweeted out here how the Eagles can get to $60 million in cap space when they only have about $23 million currently, and it is without needing or having to, I guess, cut or trade anyone. Now, I'm not saying that I agree with all these moves, but it's interesting because there's 10 players, and you see the breakdown. Like the potential cap saved is $37 million if you're restructuring Hassan Reddick, you restructure Kevin Byard, Avonte Maddox, Jordan Mailata, extend Josh Sweat. You also restructure Dallas Goedert, Jake Elliott, and then extensions for Devontae Smith and Landon Dickerson, which I think are very important to do. And then also Milton Williams. I mean, there's not a much saved between those last couple ones. But still, I mean, you add it all up, it's about $37 million. And you combine that with the current 23, so you're at $60 million. That's a decent amount of space. But yeah, you don't really spend all that money, I think, on a couple players. But it's promising, again, just to look at like, okay, hey, where are we at right now in terms of cap space? How much can we get? Personally, if I'm looking at that, I'm going, cut Kevin Byard, probably cut Avonte Maddox, which if you cut Kevin Byard post June 1st, then it's freeing up $14 million. And if you cut Avonte Maddox post June 1st, then it's another $7 million. So, you're talking about, you could be at what? Like, instead of 60, you could be at probably almost 70. If I'm doing the math right there, I think it's 67, 68, somewhere around there. It's not too bad. But yeah, again, good breakdown. I'll retweet this too here. So that way, anybody following on Twitter, you can go check it out. Let me get to the super chat here. I got to, I think, yeah, a couple of them coming in here. Let's see. Chris, what's up? Breed of one. I had several different comments from Chris. Let's see. $5 super chat. Appreciate that. It says, one O-line lanes replacement, which I'd be okay with in the draft. It would make sense if Howie did it. I'd prefer D-line, but I get it. First round, 2 linebacker, 3 corner. Howie's in a position with the cap that he can't afford tonight. Or can't afford to miss on picks, so he's going to play it safe. Yeah, I mean, there's more pressure. I agree with you on that side. You look at some of the picks that he's made or some of the trades too. He knows, like, hey, this is we got to get this thing back on track. I don't know though. I feel like I'm still sticking to. Again, who knows? Because it's total speculation, so I could be dead wrong. But again, I'm sticking to the fact that it's going to be something on the defense. I'm going to be shocked if Howie goes with offense, and I personally, I'll be upset. Like, we're going to have the live stream on draft night. You guys come hang out. We're going to give away stuff. I'm pretty sure I'm going to give away this. So if you like the sign, not the actual one here, because it started malfunctioning on me, so you'll get a new one. But yeah, we'll probably give that away on draft night. But I'll be kind of upset. First round, if we're just saying like, oh, great, got an O-lineman with what we need on this defense. I mean, the only way that makes sense, or that I'll be, somewhat content with that, is if Howie replaces a lot of things in free agency, and we're sitting here going, wow, that was a lot more than we thought he'd do, and a lot better deals, and maybe we are shored up. Maybe we can just, take absolute best player available and not have to worry about it. But after what we saw this past season from the defense, I mean, I see, the 2 second pick linebacker, 3rd corner, but I'll be surprised. And like I say, upset if we go O-line with number 1, but can't deny that it wouldn't be out of the norm if Howie views that, or he's trying to, take advantage. You say you have a Jackson Powers Johnson available at 22. something. But yeah, I won't be the happiest. Cisco, appreciate it. Got the 5 here. Do y'all accept me as an Eagles fan? I've been a Charger fan till they left San Diego. Have an autistic son, so started rooting thanks to Eagles autism. Hey, heck yeah, definitely Eagles fan. Appreciate you hanging out too. Absolutely, I don't have a problem with that. Could definitely be an Eagles fan. You know, I'm trying to convince my family members as of today, even though they're Cowboys fans, to be Eagles fans. So, I don't know if that's acceptable, but I think it is. If you can ever, win them over from the dark side or just come over from another fan base. I'm not saying Chargers really feel like the dark side, but from Cowboys fans, heck yeah. Appreciate the support though. Let's see. Yeah, everybody jumping in on that. Welcome, agreed. Eagles Edits, what's up? By the way, do you think Hassan Reddick should return next year? Yeah, I mean, again, kind of the ongoing conversation or the topic. I want him to. I do, but numbers-wise, I think at most it's going to be $20 million a year that you pay him that I'd be okay with. If it's more than that, and even that, I'm kind of like, not sure. I see Cisco or Philly 416 buy Eagles merchandise so we can keep our players. There you go. It's helping out however you can. Princess, what's up? Says, yeah, let Byard and Maddox go. Hopefully there's more wiggle room to work out a deal with Reddick. Yeah. I mean, I wonder if he would take like just I'm not saying like a major discount. I guess it's kind of a major discount because it feels like he can get $25 million like I was talking about, but he's a Philly native. He loves being in the area. Watch the videos on the Eagles channel, him doing different charity work and loving to go around Camden, very familiar with the mayor and did a bunch of Christmas stuff this past year. I don't know, like maybe he would. I don't think I see it happening, but it wouldn't be crazy or totally, I guess, out of the question if he were to say, you know what, I want to be in Philly. I'm going to take a team discount. I'm going to miss out on $5 million a year. That just sounds like so much. Obviously for, never probably going to have a million, in my life, but it's like for someone of that nature, you're already getting 20, possibly it's worth it to him, but I can't deny or can't blame him one bit if he decides to go get the max that he's worth and make the money and provide for his family and everything else. So we'll see. I hope he stays. Tracy Ann, going back to the comment of the draft, says it's a deep class for O-line. I think he goes corner or D-line in the first and goes O-line in the second. Yeah, that's where I'm with, like I was saying earlier, and I'll be happier about that one than if we go O-line in the first, but you never know. Christopher, what's up? Says we need younger DBs. All our playmakers on defense are 30 plus. Time to get some younger legs in there. Yeah, we do need some youth. That's no doubt. Slay will probably, I don't know. I feel like Slay will probably be starting still. I mean, he's on the slight regression. He's aging. I would imagine the thought, at least right now, though, is like, okay, hey, Slay is going to be one starter. You have that sold. If you're Howie Roseman, you're sitting there, you're saying Slay's going to be a starter. The second option we got to figure out. I don't know that you're confident in a James Bradbury. Maybe there's the thought of possibility that there's a resurrection there. But, and what do you think about Keely Ringo? Or Eli Ricks? There's some potential. I mean, they drafted him that way. Hopefully to make an impact in a year or two because Howie's forward thinking and Keely's already been put in the work If you follow him on Instagram or anything else, going to cover that in the show tomorrow. But hey, he's focused. What, dude's like 22, I think. So there's potential, but yes, we definitely need to get younger in a couple areas. Let's see, got a couple super chats here. Let me get to Cisco again. Man, appreciate the 5. Says, I was loyal, so it's like a marriage. They left me for another man. I love this analogy. I was a widow for years till God put me on the road to victory. EAGLES, Eagles. There you go. Love that. That's pretty good. Let's see here. Let's see. I wish I could. Okay, I'm gonna gift. I was gonna say I can't do it personally here for some reason. It's not letting me. I thought there was a way to do this, but I'm gonna throw out 5 memberships. So 5 people are gonna get them. I appreciate the support, Cisco, and definitely loyal there. Maybe you get it here. I don't know. I'm just gonna gift it. If you don't, make sure to turn on gifts. If you don't get that one, then we'll do it at some point. But oh, well, that's rigged. My other account is for some reason it's on. I have it here to make sure that we're streaming, but it just gifted it to me personally. Okay. Well, that's not going to work. So I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do 5 more because that's just weird. But 5 more people are going to get memberships. Cisco, if you have not, because we'll give this our best shot. I was going to try to just gift intentionally, but it won't let me. Make sure gifts are on. So there should be an option there to click and then go and select allow gifts. So do that first, and then I'm gonna do 5 more. I don't know what the heck it gave mine there. That's stupid. But yeah, make sure you have that turn on there. I'm gonna do 5 more here. And I'll give you a little bit of time, but I'm gonna do that here in a second. I would love to give it for everybody and also be able to, but okay, you said it, you accepted it. Sweet. Okay, all right, we're gonna do 5 more. There's no way for me to dictate who this goes to, so we'll see. But let's see, membership. Go to buy 5 more. Okay, here we go. There's 5. Good luck all. I don't know who this goes to. It's totally random. There you go. It worked. Sweet. You got it. Okay. It's totally random at who that goes to, but I see that Philly 416, Cisco Jr., Alex Cruz, Bill, DB talking now. Congrats. You got a membership. So that's cool how it worked out. I was intentionally going to do that anyway, but welcome and appreciate the loyalty, no doubt. Heck yeah, I'm glad that worked. Okay, let me get to, there's another super chat I think I missed here. Where is that? Here we go. Swaggy G. Appreciate the 2. Says, would like to trade for PS2. I mean, the idea of it is good. I'm not denying Pat Surtain would be awesome, but man, I don't know. What do you trade for Pat Surtain? Because as soon as you do that, then all of a sudden, we're talking about the cap space, and that's just another question of all right, you got him, but then you have to extend him, and you got to get a little bit more on that side. So, yeah, I see some people asking, how do you activate DB talking? You got the membership. You have access now. You can use any emojis if you want. So, and also people that are wondering, membership. Basically, you've got the the emojis that you can use, special shout outs. I mean, you guys know that I try to give to everybody as much as possible, but members pop up first, like on the comments, so it's easier to go through and see. So give the shout outs there. I also do like giveaways specific for members, so usually try to do that like once a month. I gave away, I'm trying to think, I gave away four game tickets, or tickets to 4 games this past season. So that's specific for members. Sometimes it's just a giveaway to, anybody who watches the channel. So you don't have to just be a member. And then depending on the tier of where you're at, if you're at Hungry Dogs tier or higher, then there's a Zoom call that we do every month. So it's the last Friday of every month. But it's just to, hang out, talk birds, get to know one another a little bit better, virtual face-to-face setting, I suppose. But yeah, that one's going to be, when is the last Friday of the month? 23rd? Yeah, 23rd. So yeah, that's for members also. Also have plans for like merch eventually at some point. So keep an eye out for that, but members will get discounts on the merchandise. And I think that's everything. I may be forgetting something else, but yeah, do the vast majority on that side. So anyway, I'm glad that worked out for some people. So I messed that up initially. All right, let me get back to some of the chats because I've missed some others too. But Alex, thanks for the membership. Absolutely. Go Birds. Appreciate that. Sorry, I was missing back before, so I'm catching up. All right, here we go. 50 Shades of Trey. What's up, man? Says the only O-line I can accept taking early this year is JPJ or Frazier. Lane still has a few years left. I'm cool with drafting a year ahead, but not multiple years ahead. I think Lane has 2 to 3 more. Yeah, I hope so. I hope he does. I agree with you, though, on the JPJ or Frazier. I even with those, like I said, if you're taking that first round, I'm going to be not so happy. But if you're going to take it for Lane and replace, it feels a little bit early. But again, it's also one move that I could see Howie doing because he has in the past, where it's like we sit here and go, wait, you're going to take the replacement already? Like what? That doesn't make a ton of sense. I don't know. I would be interested to see how they feel about Tyler Steen. It's a maybe. Like whenever they drafted him, the thought is, hey, right tackle. So he doesn't have to be the guy. He played a little bit of right guard. I don't think that he's the solution at right guard. I don't think Cam Jurgens is the solution at right guard either. So if even if Kelce comes back, it's like, okay, Cam could play right guard another year, but like I say, long term, it's going to be so much better. Like, this is not me saying I want Kelce to go. Please make sure that you guys are not hearing that or going to say that. But it's like once Kelce's gone, Cam Jurgens to center, right guard, you got to figure out. Because I don't think Steen is that. I mean, I guess if you get like JPJ, I feel like he would be a better option if you're going to play one of those at right guard. It'd be interesting too, because then you'd have 3 centers basically. But we'll see. Let me throw this up here too while I'm going to answer a couple other comments, but I saw this and it was kind of funny. I don't know if this is still... It was working earlier today, but I'm assuming it still is up. But if you didn't see it, just in case, it's the Convince Kelce voicemail line. So there's the number, but basically it's calling in, leaving voicemails, and I think WIP is going to play them for Valentine's tomorrow. So I don't know, you might get featured if you call it. I'd imagine that they have an insane amount of voicemails, so word to the wise, like if you want to get featured, maybe I shouldn't encourage this, but like if you want to, you might say something pretty crazy or have like a really good argument for him. But I am interested to see like which ones they play and which ones get featured. Let's see, and I'll leave that up there for a second in case you are curious or you want that phone number. Joke sauce. Do you think Fangio will use Ajomo more this year? Yes, I think so. I mean, he didn't get used a whole lot, but like remember, there were a couple. What was it? I think it was Landon Dickerson. I think it was Landon and Cam Jerkins who were saying that Ajomo is like the. Again, this is like the practice squad guys, but still, like out of the practice squad guys, the guy who gives them the most fits, difficult to handle. So there's a lot of potential, I think, with Ajomo. Yeah, he'll for sure play more. I mean, I'm curious to see like to what extent or how often, but there's a reason that Ajomo was still on the roster, and that they're gonna look to keep him around because I think that there is a bunch of potential, and they saw that with the 7th round. The number of videos that I saw like post draft, and I mean, it's kind of like you look at it or like see it or watch it with a grain of salt, whatever the saying is there. Take it with a grain of salt. But the number of videos around Ajomo as soon as the draft ended was like, hey, lots of potential. Could be the best 7th round pick, tons of things there. So I think that there's a lot, and they see that in him. But yeah, given the fact that Fletch is probably not coming back, it just continues to feel and look that way. He's not going to Pittsburgh. He might, but he's not a for sure. He didn't even say that he wants to go to Pittsburgh. Like the whole report of, Fletch saying he wants to play for Pittsburgh, or he would prefer to. It's like if you watch that clip, he's asked a hypothetical. If you could pick someone to play with, if you could have played with someone, who would you choose? And he's literally sitting there with Cam Hayward. He's on Cam Hayward's podcast. But of course, you see the interview and people automatically, Fletch goes, you. He's like, would want to play with you. Talking to Cam Hayward. It's like, well, then, we got to run with it. We got to say that he wants to go play in Pittsburgh. I don't know. But yes, I think Ajomo will certainly play more. Uh, 50 Shades also, I think Edge is the most likely in the draft, but I prefer CB. Yeah. Potentially there. Oh, Fitness Warrior brings up a good point, though, especially with Clint Hurt. He's known to bring greatness out of players. That's a very good point. With Ajomo and others. I'm really looking forward to, hopefully, like there's a lot of hope, but I'm also, I'm partially believing this. Maybe this is my blind optimism that sometimes gets in the way, but like Jordan Davis with Clint Hurt, that pairing, I'm very hopeful that he can get the most out of him, that he can take him to the next level. I did a video saying like, hey, even look at Fangio and guys that he's been able to kind of help get to that space. I'm not saying he's going to be an Akeem Jordan or get to that level, but he could still be much better. And there were spurts of it early in the season, but I'm very hopeful. Yeah, with Clint Hurt and Jalen Carter. Hey, second year, not going to be the rookie wall anymore. That's the goal. Push each other. Milton Williams, get him on the field more often. He needs to play. Milton needs to play more. I know that he's been behind guys and not be able to get the rotation, but certainly late in the season, he looked a lot better than several of the other guys. So that could certainly be a good part. Zach, what do we feel about Jeremy Chin, even if it's just a 1-year prove it kind of deal? Yeah, I loved Jeremy Chin around the trade deadline. I think he did like at least 2 videos. I think it maybe did more than that around Chin. There's lots of speculation and Panthers being sellers and maybe he could come over, but Possibly. I'm curious if a team is going to go out there, and offer him something more. I feel like they might or they would. Wouldn't hate it, though. We'll say that. Wouldn't hate it. He's got a lot of hybrid ability, so, in a Fangio defense, could be promising if you're able to get him, but I just question if he's going to be available or another team's going to go out there and get him that way. Joke Sausage Jomo got that Katy, Texas DNA. Yes, sir, he does. Rocky Thompson. Any plans for mock draft content? Yes, we'll definitely have those. I don't like to do it too early. I know that we've already started getting some. I think Phil Yates' mock draft is out tomorrow. And then it won't be too long before we're going to start getting the weekly from just about everybody. Like, here's the mock draft, 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, 4, whatever. I don't want to do it too early for one. And then I also don't want to do it before I am knowledgeable enough, to be honest, because there hasn't been a whole lot. There's been a little bit of coverage and trying to go through the Senior Bowl, but then keeping up with the coaching search and everything else. So I need to fully get into it. But yeah, I've got plans to do that. We did mock drafts last year. I think I want to say I did 4 of them maybe. And I did the same thing. I mean, I titled it Eagles Mock Draft 1.0, 2.0. But yes, we'll definitely have those. I try to chop it up too and edit it, make it look cool and fun, I guess, to be an official draft. But we'll definitely have mock draft. Probably do a couple live mock drafts too. So maybe just one night we'll all hop on and maybe do a poll of who we should draft, or we'll see. We'll make it interesting. I might even pick and choose who gets to make the next pick or something. We'll do something there. But yeah, lots of draft content coming. Yeah, lots of fans of Milton on here. There you go. Oh, man. Jordan Davis is like Zion. I don't think I've seen that. That's pretty good. I don't think I've seen that comment before. I think it's the first time I've seen if somebody came up with that. Brandon, what's up? This is live ending soon. Just joined. No, we're good. We'll keep it going for a little while. We got plenty of comments and people and questions in here, so we'll go for a bit. Appreciate you joining. Zach, Josh, you ever in Nashville? Let me know. I will certainly let you know. Used to take this was back whenever I was in high school, but used to take summer trips to Chattanooga. So I didn't go to Nashville too much, but over in the Tennessee state. I'm gonna be honest. How do you know? I'm assuming you do in Nashville, but how close to Nashville is Chattanooga? I could look it up, but you may have a much closer. We did go once, I think, to Nashville, once or twice. John, I love me a mock draft. Yep, there you go. DB talking now. You should do a live mock draft. I will definitely do one. Not right now, but we will do at least one, probably more. LA Kid 17, what's up? Happy Valentine's Day Eve to you and Mrs. Dave. I appreciate that. She appreciates that too. Hopefully to everyone else and to you as well. If you have a significant other, you did not wait till the last second. I have made that mistake before. Did it sneak up this year? Maybe, but I appreciate it. Rocky says mock draft sounds awesome. I'll skip work for it. Don't get in trouble. It's I mean, you could rewatch it even. I know it's better to be live, sure, to get input and everything else, but we'll do more than one. Hopefully, surely we can figure out a way that people can make it most of the time. If you miss one, you can have a different one. Okay, 2.5 to 3 hours. Okay, I remembered from the one time that we went, it wasn't super close, but I couldn't remember distance-wise, Chattanooga. But heck yeah. I love it. And this the best part about it, again, this is what makes it awesome just with the chat, but even with the Zoom call last Friday of every month for Hungry Dog Tearing Up, but it's just basically getting to know everybody. I mean, at this point now, it's like I'm very interested to go to Cincinnati because Donovan was mentioning the Cincinnati trip if we go do that, which the Birds are playing, in away games. That'd be fun. I've never been to Cincinnati. I'm really, really thinking about going to the Packers game in Philly. I mean, I'll for sure be in Philly for 1 or 2 games or maybe more this coming season. And we'll probably give away even more tickets because I got a sponsorship, very blessed, but sponsorship from SeatGeek now. So give away more tickets than we did last year. Assuming that the Packers is not the Brazil game, but I'm hopeful that it's not. Because if it is, then I'm going to bring we'll see. See how many family members we can bring. But would love to bring my twin brother, Caleb, and his wife, because they're Packers fans. My wife is also a Packers fan, so, I might be outnumbered, but obviously, like, once we get to the tailgate area, you guys got me, so we'll be fine. Oh, and just in case people are, let me see if I can pull this one up. This might be the wrong. Let's do. Yeah, just in case people are wondering. I don't know why the picture is not scrolling down for me. But yeah, that's me and my twin brother there, Caleb. 50 Shades of Trey. Tell my boss to not bug me while I'm mocking with the Philly Special fam. Bro, that's, yeah, maybe. I don't think that's going to get you out of a lot. You still be. Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah, Zach saying move from Maine. Okay. Yeah, if you ever go back to Chattanooga, we were in technically, I guess, Saudi Daisy, but went to the lake several times, had a blast. It was like almost once a summer type trip. So it was good. Meg says, me as a teacher making Valentine's cards for tomorrow now. Good luck. Hopefully it's not too big of a class. I don't know how many cards you got to make, but I mean, it's not the absolute last second, but yeah, hopefully it doesn't take you forever. Chris says, I think we could be triplets. Joke sauce. Does your brother get asked if he's Josh often? Totally. Yeah. We've got some really great stories. I mean, I would assume just about any twins have great stories, but like from whether it's intentional or not, like not intentional, but if you try to do it up, you could definitely take advantage of it. I don't know. Is it right to take someone else's like college stats class? Probably not. Did it happen? Maybe. But yeah, quick story, and then we'll get back to the Eagles. I don't want to take this up for everybody, especially interested in other questions and stuff like that. But real quick, in college, we got mixed up for each other, and it was unintentional for one. But yeah, I went to a different university. He went to a different one. I transferred to go to Baylor, which is where he was at. And I'm walking around campus, and like I don't know anybody, but Caleb does, and so he's gone around, and people know him, and so I'm like just headed to class, and Like after the first day, I come back to the apartment and Caleb tells me the story of he's like, man, I showed up to class and like this one dude is like, Caleb, are you okay? He's like, what do you mean? He's like, well, he's like, I saw you. And he's like, I was trying to get your attention. He's like, you just like kind of just glared for a second and just kept going. And he's like, I was like, oh gosh, like must be having a bad day. So apparently I gave Caleb a really bad rap because like lots of his friends, this wasn't the only occurrence. But like, I don't know. I maybe they were saying Caleb and I didn't pick it up, but yeah, there's lots of mix up that we've had, but it's fun. So hopefully can bring him to Philly though. He's never been to Philly. And you know, maybe we can beat the Packers. Although the Packers it's not going to be an easy game. I will say that it's not going to be an easy game. Kubichi says y'all look alike, but I can still tell who you are. Cool. I appreciate it. Some people say no way, but Meg says looks like you photoshopped yourself twice. And 40 of those. Okay. Let's see. Jordan Patrick, let me get to this question. What's up, man? Saw this a little bit ago, so get back to it. What position do we need to improve the most, in your opinion, and why? Thanks in advance. Much love from Canada. Appreciate that. Yeah, the position we need to improve the most. This is like, I feel like it changes with me like once a week because I just think through like, oh, maybe we could be okay here, or oh, this might be a possibility. It's definitely on the defense, without question. I'll go through the process of elimination. It's for sure not the D-line. You need to make it better, but it's for sure not the D-line. Corners is an issue. Linebackers an issue. Safety is an issue. Excuse me, depending on what you do with the safety, but I think it's got to be linebacker. Yeah, linebacker. Because the lack of what we have, and then the combination of Fangio's defense needing strong linebacker play and what it demands from that position, it's like a double whammy, I guess. Like you're sitting there and saying like, okay, we really don't have the best talent in this scenario, but then we also don't have the right guys for the scheme, in my opinion. So yeah, it needs to improve drastically, and it needs to be like Nacobe is probably going to be the guy. I don't know. Maybe you make a splash or do something crazy, but it feels like he's going to be the guy, whether you want to or not. He'll be the green dot wearer, at least what Howie does. But the second guy has to be someone different. You got to bring someone else in. Zach Cunningham can stay. I'm okay with that, but he can't be your number two. He's got to be a backup option, reserve, whatever. And you really have to improve in that spot, especially the pass coverage. I mean, we saw from over the middle of the field, wide open, tear you apart. You know, as soon as you see where Nicholas Morrow was lined up, it just became inevitable every single down, every single play. Now, sure, the defensive coordinator was not making that any easier, but yeah, that's where I probably go with is you have to get a linebacker. Philly 416, corner round 1, linebacker safety round 2. Keep it with the defense. John, yeah. Oh, look, the Packers hit the jackpot again on their QB. It is just strange how much they've go from Favre to Rodgers to Jordan Love. Kevin, my wife and sister-in-law are twins and work together at ICU unit. As nurses, patients get confused. I would bet that they do. That's yeah. There's lots of pranks that you could certainly play, but I'm sure certainly in that scenario with and also being like in scrubs, you know, as nurses, that makes it even better. Anytime you do that, like whenever we played sports, you know, you're in uniform, so the number is different, but it's not always the easiest for players to identify. So sometimes you can get someone looking for the wrong person. So makes it fun. Yeah, Joseph comment here. Devontae Smith on Chris Long's podcast. Kellen Moore called him, and yeah, talking about what he liked. Yep, we mentioned that a little bit ago, but definitely enjoys the offense or the potential for the offense, which is exciting for sure. Yeah, I see lots of other Leonard linebacker, Rocky Thompson linebacker, DB, Shades of Trey linebacker, Philly 416. Yeah, already at the corner. Jordan, appreciate the input. Chat, thanks. I thought corners and safety too. Jay Sanchez, what's up? Says thanks for doing these lives. Heck yeah. It's always fun. Always fun to interact. I mean, you guys know I try to answer as many comments as I can from the videos, but it's always better to just hop on lives and, you know, go back and forth and kind of get the rapid fire response and everything there. So it keeps it fun, and it's definitely enjoyable because, you know, if news ever breaks, occasionally it does. We had news breaking that, you know, a coach, Christian Parker was hired, I think, during a live, and then who else was it? I think there was I think it was the one where we lost out, so that's not as fun, but Carl Scott not going to be here. But yeah, you know, you never know what happens. Yeah, seeing the also the Jalen Carter stuff too. I know that's a topic that's going on, I guess continually. Which I'll throw this one up here real quick. Let's see. There you go. It's a little bit small on that side. Maybe I can zoom it in a little bit. There you go. Yeah, so y'all may have seen this, but the John Feliciano blamed his teammate, offensive lineman for the 49ers, but blamed his teammate for missing the block against the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. And then, you know, he said that he was drunk and apologized, and, you know, it was too much. Which is strange because, you know, you're calling out a teammate and everything else. But then the kind of interesting, crazy part was then Jalen Carter. So I'll scroll up to the top so you can see. So Breadman Jalen, he saw this and then put it to his Instagram story. Said, same dude who spoke on my dead teammate and the reason I was emotional during our game. So yeah, you know, the crying clip and being super upset and everything else. Yeah, that was apparently for that reason. So and it looks like Jalen's still on Twitter, like commenting quite a bit to people. But there's no place for that. That's ridiculous. First off, like I mean, I don't even care. Whatever you say about sports and competitiveness and trash talk and everything, like there is a limit, and I haven't seen if they're like doing a catch up or whatnot on this, but let's see. Oh, and then he got blocked. Okay. Yeah, so then Jalen posted he got blocked by Feliciano. Sorry, I saw the beginning of this, but then I missed a little bit of it as it's been going on. So I'm catching up here with some of you guys may have already seen this for a while because I know that some of these tweets, but oh, there's the response. Okay. Yeah, I'm seeing there's a lot more back and forth than what I was seeing. But yeah, Princess, I didn't think I could be happier that the Winers lost until I found out what Feliciano said to JC. Completely out of line, no doubt, completely out of line. Although he's saying here, he's like, Jalen told me he was going to murder me and my kids, would never see me again 3 times. Because I was laughing at him for getting a flag. I said, I believe you. You got a body. Then he continued for weeks posting my fam and reaching out to my friends. I mean, this is just ridiculous. Good gosh. It's sad that it even comes to this too, but it's like, I mean, I guess for one, how are we going to know legit what the truth is? And of course, like Feliciano's going to deny it, and Jalen's going to say that he's telling the truth there, but I don't know. Maybe you guys have already seen something, but if Feliciano's telling the truth, then like, wouldn't he post screenshots? Like if Jalen was legit reaching out to his family and friends. I mean, it's obviously terrible, but still, it's like, come on, bro. Yeah, kind of strange. I'm gonna have to go through here and like look at more of the comments and everything, and maybe get more of an idea on what's going on and try to share it coherently. But yeah, like Philly 416, lines were crossed by Feliciano, idiot. I don't get that's so ridiculous. Again, I would want to see like proof. Maybe there's some. Yeah, then he said here, what, if you dish it, you got to be able to take it. He talked about my kids. I made that reference. I lost a friend to an accident too, so I understand why he was upset. I did feel bad though, or thought about apologizing until he started posting my kids on his Instagram. Then I had to get the NFL involved. Bro, what? Yeah, I'm with all of y'all saying I got to see it to believe it. What this is, I mean, this story would have come out well before if he was posting on his Instagram and getting the NFL involved. I'm sorry, that's ridiculous. I'm not buying that. Yeah, there's surely got to be some sort of evidence, screenshot. It would have been a story somewhere. I mean, out of the Jalen Carter, was it the Target? I think there was some incident with a Target, and somebody posted something, and then we didn't even get really a whole lot of information on that one. But even something like that came out. So if this was legit, like death threats and family and everything else, something would have come out, and there would definitely be receipts. So there's anything to go off of. Yeah, exactly, Zach. Yeah, if you got the NFL involved, something suspended, any kind of report, even an investigation, like anything. As much as other people are trying to take down Jalen Carter, like there would have been something that people said. Oh, there's actually, okay, well, I found you guys again. I'm just seeing this, but yeah. See, this is so weird. Like, yeah. See, I think Anthony, what's up, man? He says we probably shouldn't take the hungover Super Bowl sore loser too seriously. That's for sure. That is without a doubt. I'm just playing catch up on all this stuff. And again, if you guys haven't, make sure to follow Anthony. He's got the best coverage, best content on the draft and prospects and NFL visits that the Eagles have. Obviously, he was on the past video talking about Hassan, but I don't. I'm still gonna. I'm so. This is weird and strange, and I haven't seen any of this. There was finally a screenshot though that was posted. So, yeah, Feliciano shared this one, I guess, of Jalen saying, "I'm your biggest fan. I'll get up with you." Like, I don't know. It's well, you start out the off season with a lot of drama, something to talk about. And there's lots of comments. I'm not going to keep throwing these up here, but Jalen's responded multiple times, and yeah, it's a story, and people are going to run with it for sure now. So there you go. At least some people have more entertainment to go off of, but yeah, they'll have it. Speaking of that hangover, yeah, like Philly 416 here even says that team, San Francisco, will be in complete disarray in 2024. Book it. Yeah, talk about a Super Bowl hangover and what they're going to have to end up getting to. That's not great. Good luck to him, except not really. Let's see. JP, what do you rate our Super Bowl odds next season? I don't know yet, really. We're plus 2,000, I think, to win the Super Bowl. Whatever that means. I mean, there's so many moves to be made and everything else, but it's still very possible. We could definitely do it. It's not like it's everybody knows this. It's not like it's a rebuilding year or, hey, we've got a ton that we need to do to get back in that spot, but it's still like odds in general. Like I don't exactly know how to answer that, to be honest. Like, what are we going to say? A 30% chance, 40% chance. I have no idea. Yes, Outside the Birds, great follow for sure. Yeah, like Zach says, got to see what the team looks like first. That's why I say, in terms of like exact odds, plus 2,000 sounds great, feels great, or feels fine, I guess. Wouldn't mind taking a flyer on the plus 2,000. You take it right now before the odds get better if we start out strong. But yeah, there's so far to go between now and then. Trader Joe, what's up? Could you see us getting Ayuk? Not really. He'd be fun, but no. You get a receiver like that as your wide receiver 3. Whoever is wide receiver 3, we talked about it earlier, but like they're going to be productive. They're going to have a good year. I just don't see it as a bigger name like an Ayuk that comes. It'll be, to me, probably someone mid, much better than Quez. That's not saying a lot, but still, it'll be someone better than that. Yeah, Philly 416. Put 20 on that all day, without a doubt. Hey, let's go. Philly 500 pounds. Just became a member. Shout out to you. Seeing all the emojis too now. Got access to the emojis. Everything else. Let's see. What was it's delayed on, oh my gosh, dude. Breed of 1? Are you kidding me? It takes a little bit before it lets me know, but breed of 1 member. Let's go. I think that's only the third one. Third breed of 1 member. Heck yeah, man. So yeah, you got access to all the stuff, all the perks, including extra stuff that we've got planned in the works. But Zoom call the last Friday of the month, the 23rd. Have a Zoom call. I send it out on the community tab or the community page. So again, just for like anyone that's wondering, if you're Hungry Dogs or higher, I'll send out the link. It's the Zoom link with a password and everything else, and you'll have access to it. So just be on the lookout. I'll send it out probably like, I don't know, the Monday before, and then I'll send it out again, a couple of reminders and messages on the community page. But just so you don't miss it, make sure to keep an eye out for it. Zach, I see your question here. How do you get a membership to Breed of 1 to chat with fellow fans? You should be able to go to join and get a membership if you haven't yet, but you don't have to do Breed of 1. I appreciate it if you want to, but you could literally, here, I'll post it here. I think that in case you don't have the link. Yeah, if you go through that link, it'll allow you, but you really it's Hungry Dogs and up. So like Breed of 1 is the highest tier. Like, again, I'm going to be honest. I love the sport. I appreciate the sport. You guys are awesome. Breed of 1 doesn't have like as many of the perks and advantages yet. It's going to. The only main difference right now is like whatever your membership tier is, you get more entries for like the ticket giveaways and like the special giveaways that I do for members. So it's not like it's nothing. It'll give you 25 entries versus like 3 or 5 or 6 entries. But in terms of like just the monthly call, that's Hungry Dogs works for that as well. So either one, but there's going to be extra merchandise and stuff like that for Breed of 1 and all that. But yeah, you should be able to go through that link and then hold up on that side. Yeah, agreed. Anish says NFL involved. You don't think he'd be suspended if true? Yeah, totally agree. Going back to Jalen Carter, if it was legit, if it was an actual thing at this point, sorry, but it would be very easy to have heard anything about this story and it being like, oh, okay, yeah, this is this is something with the number of heck with the number of rumors that we've had of stuff that's not even fully true. It would have at least been a rumor. I mean, if nothing else, something that would have come out. Salty Niner fans from Marty. They are. I mean, hey, it can't feel great. Can't be feeling too good after a loss like that. I mean, yeah, we know the feeling, of losing the Super Bowl. However, it hasn't been almost 30 years since winning one. So sorry about you, whiners. Yeah, I forget. Yeah, this is a good one. I forgot about this. But tell your team to learn the OT rules. Don't sleep in meetings. Apparently, it's just the coach, right? I mean, even Shanahan not realizing it. His interview after the game, at first he said he didn't want to give the ball back to Mahomes. Like, you take the ball first, so you don't give the ball back to Mahomes, which implies that he didn't know what the rule was, because he was going to get the ball back regardless. You go score a touchdown, he's still going to get the ball back. I feel like he just thought it was the regular rules of OT. But then later he comes back and says, no, we took it because, we took the ball because we wanted to, shoot, why am I forgetting? He came back and, why am I forgetting this now? Oh, third possession. That's right. Okay. Yeah, decided to take the ball in OT in order to have the third possession, because then, both teams would have had the ball once, and then you can go win the game, which that's ridiculous. I mean, it's just, it's insanity. I mean, hey, I appreciate the Niners fan hanging out here. I mean, just fair warning. We appreciate the support, I guess, hanging out on an Eagles chat after losing a Super Bowl. But I mean, hey, if you feel that way after 30 years of no Super Bowls and you got a head coach who obviously can't get the job done, good luck. Oh, shoot. I see it, Zach. Yeah, I can't remember YouTube connected to school email. I didn't realize that worked, so I guess that makes sense. But I was not aware. Marty, Niners have gone to playoff games and Super Bowls just to lose. Oh, that's a good point, too. Yeah, Tracy, kind of loved the Eagles were part of the OT rule change. But see, the Niners are probably going to come back and request another change now, right? They're going to ask for an emergency linebacker, which I will say, prayers to Dre Greenlaw. I hate any injury, so don't wish ill will on anybody. And that was a weird, strange fluke deal. But in the spirit of the joking part to it, of Purdy and going out and the QB change, they'll go and request a different change and getting help from the league and, all the excuses, the field that they had to practice on and all this other stuff. But they had a 10-point lead, so sorry, you had your opportunity. More than enough opportunities. And, it's how it goes sometimes. Shades of Trey. Appreciate the 5, says that team can never take a loss with their bad attitudes, always fighting, crying, and making excuses. That's why I don't know that there's a better or much of a better nickname than the 40 Whiners. Like they just live up to it. Like we don't have to do anything really, and they just naturally are that. JP, Niners are now the Red Cowboys. Yeah. That's pretty good. Jay, let's go. Became a member. The Let's Run It tier. Heck yeah. Appreciate the membership. Got access to all the emojis now, as well as the giveaways. Heck yeah. John, I get the hate. It's so funny, but I'll have you know, in all mock drafts, I reject all Niners trades, no matter how much sense they make. Or yeah, how much sense they make. Oh my gosh. Philly 416, San Francisco, a truck stop beauty queen from the 90s. Tracy Ann, seriously, the Niners are basically slightly more successful Cowboys. They choke in the playoffs. Oh, yeah. No matter, even though, hey, you know, good, congratulations. You make it a little bit further, but. Let's see. Super chat here from Chris. Appreciate it, man. The 5. I can see us tossing Scotty, I think Miller. Oh, yeah. I see your next comment. Miller. Yeah, Scotty Miller. A cheap 1-year contract on a prove it deal. Has the same skill set as Quez, but has true production in his resume. Okay. I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna have to look this up. What did he do with Atlanta? Does he have? I mean, is it significant production we're talking about? I mean, I know it's a possibility. Let's see. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, I'll share the screen here 1 second. I'm just pulling this up here for Scotty. Here we go. Yeah, so for Scotty Miller, I mean, that's not much production. It's not nothing. I know he's not the go-to guy or anything, but 11 for 161, 2 touchdowns. I mean, no doubt that he would do better in a Kellen Moore scheme, and as a wide receiver 3, probably have better numbers than that. But still, if we go to Quez, I mean, 15, 142, a touchdown. I'm done with Quez. I'm for sure over him. But yeah, I don't know. That not sure I get on board with him as much. I feel like you just make a different signing altogether. Because production-wise, you know, if I'm looking at that, granted, he may have had a little bit better opportunity. I get that he was behind, especially in Tampa, you know, behind all the production there of, well, depending on the years, but Evans and Godwin, Gronk. Yeah, yeah. No, that's true. I know. I get. Yeah, he definitely was a fourth option. I mean, so is Quez technically. If we look at it roughly, I mean, not for all the season, but for the last couple, it's AJ, Devontae, Dallas Goedert. There would probably be. I would say there's probably other options. I haven't looked into it, so that's maybe just a terrible comment back because I can't really say like, oh, hey, here's a different name. But overall, just initial reviewing, and I haven't looked into him too much, but just the initial production and what he brings to the table, I feel like there's somebody else that they'll go with, maybe more solidified, or heck, you could even draft someone. I don't know if it's a Lad McConkey or just anyone there, but there's other options. JP, as JP says, Kellen Moore wants a solid wide receiver 3. Wonder who that could be. Yeah, I think it would just be someone else on that side. Hey, Rocky says, let Greg Ward cook again. Maybe. Bring him back there? Possibly. Marty, let's go. Welcome to Let's Run It Club. And there you go. You got access to the emojis as well. I appreciate that. It says, had to join. Love the show. Awesome. Oh, here we go. Okay. See, Anthony's on top of this stuff. He's always plugged in there. But Noah Brown as the wide receiver 3. I like that just upon the initial hearing of Noah Brown. But he says played for years in Dallas under Kellen Moore. Perfect. Oops, I lost it. Hang on. Sorry. Played for years in Dallas under Kellen Moore. Only issue will be Houston allowing him to walk in free agency. There you go. That's now probably my favorite option for wide receiver 3. So appreciate it, Anthony. Philly fan, I feel like it's going to be Britton Covey for the wide receiver 3 spot. I don't think so. Probably not. I'm curious if they even give him a look. I mean, they might briefly, but he's your punt returner. He's solidified there. He can be an option if he has to, and if there's injuries or whatever. But Noah Brown makes a lot of sense. All right, a couple more questions maybe I'll get to, and then I got to jump off. I got to go help the wife. We're getting there to bedtime hour and everything else. So appreciate everyone jumping on and joining here, though. Got a couple more members and gave away some memberships, so that was cool. John O'Malley, hey Josh, do you think Jalen Hurts will be the Eagles' leading passer when he retires? Oh, that's a good question. Let's look that up. I don't know exactly where we're at. How far away? I mean, for one, let's just say this, that it helps. It's a passing league now, and, lots of other stuff there, but let's see here. I'll share the screen. Here we go. Yeah, so Jalen has 11,764 yards so far. And where are we at? All-time passing leader, Donovan McNabb, 32,874. So, Yeah, what is that? Like 21,000? You did like 7-ish more years at 3,000 a year. You'd have it. Is that right? I think that's the math on it. I feel like I have to do everything with the calculator, which is probably terrible, but that's should be accurate-ish. Yeah, I mean he should. Here's the thing: if Jalen, the only thing that will stop him, and maybe again this is the part of your question, so I'm skirting around it, but it's like if he stays healthy, he for sure should. I mean that's 7 more years. And 3,000 a year is even low. I get that. Like he should be able to get there. He had 3,800 this year. I mean, 3,100, 3,700, 3,800. It's probably only going to increase. Plus, you look at it that we have an extra game that gets played. You have the 17. So if he stays healthy, it's a no-brainer. His play style, does he get hurt or risk of injury a little bit more? Sure. But I mean, it should be automatic as long as he doesn't get injured, as long as he doesn't get hurt. Then Jalen Hurts should be the passing leader. Oh, here we go. Anthony, dropping the knowledge tonight. Another name. I think 50 Shades of Trey had mentioned, I think earlier. I forgot to throw your comment up there. But yes, Anthony says Kendrick Bourne. Eagles talked to him when he was a free agent in 2021. There you go. Another name to like. I will say that you guys could probably throw out any name at all, and I'm going to like them better than Quez. So that part's easy, but then it's like, okay, who's a legit option for wide receiver 3? So appreciate it, Anthony. I mean, I would, it's probably ridiculous, but I would take anyone over Quez. Yeah, true. Kabichi saying it could be quicker, I guess, than if he hit 4K or 5K a couple seasons. Yeah, you'd get there a lot faster. Cool. Zach, I see the comment on the account too. That's sounds good. That'll work. Let's see. Rocky says there were times I was pissed he slid instead of fighting for the first. Yeah, I mean, it's different, no doubt, but it's like, okay, to what extent was the knee injury, and he's protecting himself and probably being told by the coaches, understandably so, like, hey, don't take unnecessary shots. I think unfortunately that's just the spot where we're at. Of like, you just got to live with it. There's times to manage it and times to say, hey, go for it, take off. I mean, case in point of, I guess this was back before he was doing it, but still, like in the Super Bowl, whenever he got the 2-point conversion run, I mean, that was reckless abandon. Like, you're going to get yourself injured possibly, but just barreling through. The only reason he got that is that 2-point conversion was all on him. Sadly, it didn't amount to anything. But yeah, like if he picks his spots, I'm okay with it. It was certainly frustrating. I'm with you. The number of times that doing the live streams and we're sitting there and going like, come on, Jay, like just move, like run, be a little bit more aggressive. Yeah. But I think it's a fine line. If you can do it occasionally, then I'm all right with it. Can't completely lose that dual threat ability though, because that's what made him so good. That's why you paid him that money. He's great. I am excited. And shout out to Shane Half. I think Shane was the one who said it, but Shane was talking about like the rollouts and the different usage of motion that we're going to see from Kellen Moore and things like that. Like to get Jalen under center and have some play action involved, as also some rollouts and the potential of, or just the threat of running the football. That to me is going to be dynamic, and it's also going to be really exciting because it's not the stagnant, hey, defenses know for sure you're going to be in the gun, and you just limit your options. Get him on the move, help him. And there's a reason that Jalen was 70% or a little bit higher percentage from the pocket versus he was terrible outside of the pocket. Like that was kind of a little bit surprising. I figured he'd be, like okay outside of the pocket. Let me see if I can find that stat. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. So this will be much improved. This is great. But here's the stat. So it's from Jeff Kerr. Jalen Hurts was 4th in the NFL on completion percentage inside the pocket at 70.8%. 4th in the NFL. Again, very non-creative offense that is from the gun, that is take a snap and you're basically standing still. Like not a lot of change. He bailed a little bit too much, sure. But then outside the pocket, Hurts' 3rd lowest completion percentage. Less than 40% completion. So it's gonna be drastically better. It's gonna make life easier on Jalen, just with the routes and the game planning and everything else that Kellen puts in play. But also, like I say, the rollout intentionally get him out of the pocket and then give him options. I think it's just gonna help his ability to process and read things quicker. And again, the receivers are going to benefit drastically from it as well because you're going to put Smitty in different spots. You're going to have him in motion. Yeah, I'm super excited about the offense and what we're going to do. It will not be with Quez. Like 50 Shades said he was going to show us this year. He did say that, and he did not show us really anything. Big D, what's up? How's it going? Yeah, that's true. Zach said he played in the Pro Bowl. Yeah, I mean, he was fine by then, for sure. But, yeah, a little bit more aggression. That'd be all right. All right, I'm going to end this here because I got to go help get the kids to bed and everything else. But, again, appreciate you guys hanging out. We're going to do some we will have some cool stuff on Friday night. So for people, come hang out, join the Friday night hangout. Is probably going to be like 8 p.m. Eastern, maybe. We'll see. Tentatively 8 p.m. Eastern, but I'm probably going to do a giveaway because we got to 45,000 subs. Crazy ridiculous. Can't thank you guys enough for all the support. So definitely give it back in terms of however I can. But yeah, we'll do. I'll think of something, but we'll do some sort of giveaway that night. And yeah, we'll hang out. But until then, there'll be shows. I've got one tomorrow that'll come out, depending on whenever I can get some time from the kiddos and edit and everything else like that. But yes, tomorrow at some point there will be a show come out, as well as any breaking news and stuff like that will go live. So appreciate you guys, all the people that became members tonight. If you haven't already, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and until next time, we'll see you then. Go Birds.